Hello, and thank you for listening to this Ringside Report Network podcast today. You can find more in-depth, exclusive written content on our website at ringsidereport.net. Before I hand it off to Dave and the team, I want to remind you that we are a listener-supported creator team. On our website, we would appreciate it if you supported our sponsors or purchased our exclusive merch. Branded clothing, mugs, and even jiu-jitsu gear, which are available only in our store. You can become a recurring supporter of our content at membership.ringsidereport.net. This, along with all our podcasts, is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Amazon, iHeart, and TuneIn, wherever you get your podcasts. It would help us immensely if you left a positive review on Spotify, Apple, or Amazon. Thank you for your support and enjoy the show.
Hey, it's the WrestleMania Night 1 post-show, WrestleMania 41, first night. Let's talk about it.
Start.
Do. Eight. You can't hear us? Can they hear us now?
Hello.
Is there no sound? There's no audio, apparently.
Oh. Okay.
That's weird because I'm seeing audio on my gimmick, so what's the story?
Oh.
Here we are. I think we got audio now. I think it's fixed. We're good now.
Yeah?
Wow, that's weird.
All right.
We had some sort of glitch. Okay. Here we are. Night 1.
In the books.
In the books.
What a book.
Yeah. It was not the best.
No, it wasn't.
It was not the best. It was kind of a long one. Night 2 hopefully will be better.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard to beat this night. It's not like they got their work cut out for them.
Yeah, I'm really hoping for night 2 to be better than night 1. We're going to run through the card. I thought the main event was the best match of the night. I want to hear from you. I want to know, what was your score on 10? How did you enjoy night 1 of WrestleMania 41? What's your score on 10? And what is your match of the night? I wonder what everybody thought. Because, I was ready to enjoy WrestleMania. I was ready to have a good time and see some good old professional wrestling, brother. And what I saw was a pretty average to below average show from the WWE. A little bit of a disappointment, night 1, as far as I'm concerned. I didn't think anything was particularly bad. Like where you go, ooh, that really sucked.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't think that there was anything that was really memorable or amazing or really even worthwhile.
Yeah.
It felt like TV.
Yeah, no big resolutions or twists, really. Some things happened, but nothing that really fell out of left field.
I mean, we did the preview show last night. I predicted the matches, and I predicted everything except for Tiffany winning. I thought Charlotte might win. She did not. I was surprised by that. I thought that match was okay. It was the best match of the night going into the main event. I thought the main event was the match of the night in the end. I mean, it was twice as long, 3 times as long as the other matches. So they were given far more time to work. And it's not like this was a short show. This was a 4-hour show with a bunch of 9-minute and 7-minute matches.
A lot of video packages.
A lot of video packages. Long entrances. More video packages. Commercials. I mean, this show was 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. It was a 4-hour show, and we saw very little wrestling. And the wrestling we did see wasn't really out of the ordinary. And I don't blame the performers. I am blaming the company for the performances that we saw tonight, because they have been working these people to the bone. They sent them on a European tour for a month, like a month away or less than a month away from WrestleMania. The tour ended like 2 weeks before Mania. The Hall of Fame last night started at 10 p.m. Pacific, so 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm sure some of you have seen the pictures of and the videos from the Hall of Fame of a bunch of wrestlers just asleep because they worked SmackDown too, a lot of them. And they have to work WrestleMania this weekend. So, yeah, they're tired.
Doing, like, press and the WWE World Signings all day. Like, everyone's been, like, working, like, hard all week, And then, yeah, we got to go to the Hall of Fame, and it went till, like, midnight their time,
Yeah.
Of just Triple H going on to listen to the boss.
I mean, and it's not like they're working on Pacific time. WrestleMania starts Eastern time. They're working on Eastern time. So if you have your talent working on Eastern time, just because you're in Pacific time zone, doesn't mean you could start something at 10 p.m. Pacific, because that's 1 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
Then you're expecting your talent to be good to go at 7 p.m. Some of the NXT talent had a show this afternoon at like 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. What do they think? I mean, I don't think they care. Nick Khan doesn't care because he's sitting in the front row on his cell phone the whole time. He's not even watching the match. He doesn't care about the welfare of these people. You think Nick Khan cares about the welfare of the WWE superstars? You think he cares about the wrestling business? Or he just cares about the business of WWE? He just cares about making money, making deals. I don't think
companies.
He doesn't eat, sleep, and breathe the business like other people do. Front row WrestleMania, just sitting there on camera, or just on his phone. I was watching him. I was like, "What is he ever gonna just pick his head up and look to see what's going on in the ring?" There are guys supposedly working their ass off for you, so you can continue to make your $1 million plus salary. I mean, he's making millions off the WWE. Yeah. So, you can't be bothered to look at the ring when, I think it was Jacob Fatu and LA Knight were
wrestling. It was during Jey Uso and Gunther, the first match, too.
Yes, it was Uso and Gunther. You're right. Yeah. Not even looking, just looking down.
The first match.
Good job, Nick Khan. Thanks for caring. Thanks for paying attention. They don't care. And that's why we saw the performances we saw tonight. Very mid-level, very run-of-the-mill, very Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown. Nothing particularly great. So, score on 10 for me is going to be a 6. It'll be passable. I thought the main event raised it. We had some things happen on the show, several title changes. I think every title except Tiffany's, we had 4 title matches, 3 title changes.
Damn.
So, some things happened. Jey Uso beats Gunther. He is the new World Heavyweight Champion in the opener. The New Day then beat the War Raiders to become the new Raw World Tag Team Champions. Jade Cargill then beat Naomi in a 9-minute match. Jacob Fatu then beat LA Knight to become the new United States Champion in 10 minutes. Then El Grande Americano beat Rey Fenix in under 8 minutes. Tiffany Stratton beat Charlotte Flair to retain the WWE Women's title in a 19-minute match. And then in the main event, Seth Rollins defeating Roman Reigns and CM Punk in a triple threat match in just over 32 minutes. So that is WrestleMania Night 1. Harold Schneider giving this one a 5 on 10. 5 on 10. Sounds about right to me. I'm going to go with a 6 on 10. I thought the show was passable, but not extraordinary. And for WrestleMania, I think if this were Backlash, I might have given it a 7. But for WrestleMania, you're expecting more. You're expecting extraordinary matches. And big surprises and all sorts. Like, we saw nothing.
No.
Nothing.
Pretty run-of-the-mill.
The big, reveal of, what's this guy doing here was El Hijo del Vikingo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what other guy did they have show up where you're like, what's he doing here?
Yeah, no. No run-ins or no...
Nothing.
No.
Except for El Hijo del Vikingo kicking El Grande Americano in that match. Because WWE bought AAA today, which is nuts. Like, a big Mexican wrestling company has just been purchased by WWE. Which is probably not good for wrestling.
Or consolidation.
Yeah. But El Hijo del Vikingo was under contract with AAA. And AAA had been working with AEW, and that relationship is now over. And El Hijo del Vikingo, who he had seen in AEW many times looking really good, will now be probably working for WWE as he kicked El Grande Americano and then went to help Rey Fenix and make him feel better after he lost to El Grande Americano. And that was really, Rey Mysterio hurt himself last night, was injured. We talked about it on the preview show, said that Rey was helped to the back. It may not work. He did not wrestle. He did not wrestle at Mania tonight, which sucks.
Yeah.
Rey Fenix.
Felt empty.
I thought Dragon Lee should have replaced him.
Yeah.
If anybody's going to replace Rey, why not Dragon Lee, who's been kind of Rey's tag team partner, been by Rey's side, and has been working for the WWE for longer than Rey Fenix. But for some reason, WWE, they don't like Dragon Lee that much.
Yeah, they don't value him.
They have him, and he's really good. But for some reason, they're more interested in pushing Penta or Rey Fenix now or El Hijo del Vikingo.
They got new toys.
Yeah, and they're just not that interested in Dragon Lee. But every time I see Dragon Lee work, I'm super impressed because he's awesome. I don't know why Dragon Lee didn't get the spot and Rey Fenix did, but whatever. They're pushing those guys, the Lucha Bros. They just signed them. They've got some AEW buzz. Basically, if you work for AEW and you come to WWE, you're going to get a little push.
Yeah.
Unless you're Andrade. Andrade's not getting pushed by anybody. AEW, WWE, whatever. They'll give you a job.
Yeah.
They'll sign you to a decent contract.
You'll work a match here and there.
You're not getting no push, though, brother. No push for Andrade. But yeah, I love Dragon Lee. Jason Pete in the chat. What's up, Jason? He said Dragon Lee is a beast. Shout out to all the members in the chat over at join.ringsidereport.net. Jason Pete, Ray Cruz, Harold Schneider dropping the super chat saying 5 out of 10. Anthony Plessia in the chat says 6 out of 10. Ryan Katz says 7.5 out of 10. So I've got 6 out of 10. You've got...
I think it's like a 6 too.
Yeah?
There was nothing truly awful. Naomi and Jade had its moments, but... it could have been a lot worse.
Overall, not great, though.
Yeah. A lot of the matches just didn't feel that special. Tiffany and Charlotte kind of had the same attire, which made it confusing during their match.
Yeah, their gear was very similar. Same colors. What are they doing?
Jacob beating LA Knight in 10 minutes with no interference. Solo wasn't even at ringside.
Yeah.
Just kind of a squash. Felt weird. I thought LA Knight kind of was a bit higher up in the food chain.
Yeah.
But he kind of felt like a jobber tonight.
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
He was just there.
The triple threat's my main event. Gunther tapping out immediate. That was a weird finish of Jey Uso applying Move Thief.
Yeah.
And just doing Gunther's
Stealing
moves and then
Gunther's
and
finish.
then just winning really fast from the chokehold.
I didn't like that either.
You're supposed to kind of get knocked out from the chokehold, the tap out, especially so fast.
Yeah. So
it
6,
just didn't feel very
6?
special. Yeah.
6.
Yeah. It wasn't outright offensive, but it was also quite mid.
The chat agreeing with us. I'm giving it a 6. You're giving it a 6. CSL Lauren in the chat. He gives it a 6. Ray Cruz 5.5. like we said, Harold with a 5, Anthony with a 6, Ryan with a 7.5. Higher, he's got the highest grade of the night, but a lot of 6s and 5s and 5.5s
just
in the chat.
Didn't feel special, you know. Like,
Nope.
We've been talking about it like again and again. The commentary. Michael Cole sounded exhausted. He was flubbing a lot of his lines, and then with Pat McAfee and Wade Barrett to add the color, it's just a lot of really uncomfortable jokes, you know. Wade Barrett's like, "Oh, my loins are tingling." It's like,
Yeah.
I don't, you know, Jerry Lawler didn't quite do that.
Yeah, well, he
didn't quite talk about his own parts.
talked
that
about
much.
puppies. And
Yeah, but he didn't talk. He didn't say like, "I got a boner, hey, JR."
No.
You know.
Yeah.
But, you know, it just didn't. It just made the whole thing just feel very unspecial.
Yeah, I didn't love the commentary. I've not loved the commentary for WWE in quite some time. I miss Jim Ross, but he's not, you know, he's not the same as he was. He's not doing as much commentary, and he's in AEW, so whatever. But I want to talk about some of the good. You know, we've been kind of negative on WrestleMania. The main event was good. The only thing for me is I predicted exactly what was going to happen. I called Seth winning. I called Heyman joining up with Seth. It seemed like that was the direction they were going. They did this promo a couple weeks ago where Seth kind of laid it out to Heyman in the ring on Raw, saying, like, Roman's not really here for you. Roman abandoned you after WrestleMania. Why would you side with him? Why would you side with Punk? He abandoned you when he left, and he completely cut you out of his life for years, and now he's back, and he wants you around, and what's that about? And Heyman kind of looked at Seth and was like, this guy's making some points. And at that moment, I was watching this promo, and I was like, oh, this is the finish of WrestleMania they're laying out here. I was like, oh, okay. Heyman is actually, you know, he's being torn between Roman and Punk. So what's the best answer here? Well, screw both of you guys. I'm going with Seth. Like that, to me, it just seemed obvious to me, and I know that that's just me because you picked Punk to win, and Johnny North on the show last night picked Roman. Johnny is wrestling tonight, so he can't be with us, but he is back tomorrow for night 2. But, you know, we all picked different guys, but just on a personal level for me, watching it, I go, oh, they're doing the thing that I thought they were going to do. Yeah. Cool. This is not like it was supposed to be the big reveal and the big surprise, but when you kind of feel like it's coming and then you predict it and then it comes true, you're like, well, it's not a big reveal and surprise to me. No. You know what I mean? Like other people, I'm not the only guy in the world that was predicting this to happen, but you know, other people were predicting it. I saw Chael Sonnen was like, "Oh, I told you," and Chael, you know, Uncle Chael, he's great. You know, I wasn't the only one. It's just that when you believe it's going to happen, and it's supposed to be like the big surprise at the end of WrestleMania, where commentary is acting like, "Oh my God," you know, you go, "Oh, okay, well." What do they have for night 2? Like, it's even more of a disappointment because I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
And you're not even surprised either. Because, like, you heard me talk about it and you're like, yeah, that makes sense. I could see them doing that.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping for Punk to win because I love the Punker. And who doesn't love the
Punk? I wanted to see him
Punk,
have the victory.
I wanted Punk to win too, but it just made sense for Seth to win because he needed it way more than Punk or Roman. He hadn't really got the win back from Punk. He lost to Punk clean on the Netflix premiere, and then they had the cage match rematch, but Roman pulled Seth out of the ring to win and then beat the hell out of Seth, so it wasn't really a nice victory for Seth over Punk. And, you know, Roman doesn't need another WrestleMania win here. He's Roman. He's minted. He's the man, you know? So Seth needed this, and Seth needed a bit of a new direction, and having Paul Heyman as his mouthpiece is great because I think the worst part about Seth is his promos. So if you can have Heyman talk for him, fantastic. We may have something here with Seth Rollins. And I think it's good. I like that they went in this direction. I think that this was the right thing to do. I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. But I thought the match was good. I thought it was well put together. I thought it was well executed. And I think the creative direction is good now going forward. So, Heyman, if you didn't see it, what happened in the match, first of all, the entrances were interesting. Seth Rollins came out in like a black robe and a flamethrower, and he starts shooting out fire. And the last guy to come out The WrestleMania with a flamethrower was The Rock. So is this some foreshadowing
Mania
too?
32.
Yeah.
Before he went to fight the Wyatt family.
Is this a little bit of Seth letting you know that, ooh, I'm also joining up with The Rock? Because that would be an interesting twist for tomorrow night, where we see some sort of super group with Seth, Cena, Rock, Heyman, and Travis Scott. I mean, that's a cool group right there to pose at the end of Mania or something with the belt. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that tomorrow night. Seth coming out with the flamethrower tonight was interesting. Lights go out for a little while, and he takes the robe out, and he's in a white jacket. Roman came out with some videos of members of his family. That was kind of a cool entrance for Roman. And then they play this long CM Punk video package, like showing the history of his career. And they've got the Fire Burns music playing at the same time, his old theme song in WWE. I thought the video package was great.
His old vignettes from ECW.
Yeah, it was just really cool. Like,
felt the nostalgia.
Young Punk, and it's just like you remember the year, like supporting him throughout the years, and it just brought back so many great memories of CM Punk, and it really got me pumped up. And then Living Color is there, and they're playing Cult of Personality live, and Punk comes out, and he's got the gray hoodie, and he's got the yellow gear, and he's got Paul Heyman by his side, and it just felt that like the summer of Punk again. Yeah. And just to see him come out was just a beautiful WrestleMania moment, and I loved it so much. The entrance for Punk was the best entrance at WrestleMania. It was a true WrestleMania moment. It was beautiful.
I like the moment where when he stands on the apron, the band stopped playing, and like they just let the audience, like, you could just hear the audience. Give him the love.
CM Punk. It was very, very cool. And then the match starts, and Punk decides to roll out of the ring, and then Seth and Roman are talking to each other, and then they decide to fight each other. And eventually Roman kind of disappears, and Punk and Seth brawl through the crowd for a ridiculous amount of time where you start to wonder, where's Roman? Punk took a garbage can to the head. Roman eventually showed up, flew over the barricade into the crowd, kind of knocked into some of the people there. But, you know, they're paying $30,000 per ticket, so they're fine.
They can
afford the health care, so they'll be all right. WWE's not covering that, brother. Roman and Punk hit a doomsday device on Seth, which was devastating. A lot of near falls in this match, which, you know, always add to the drama. But we saw a lot of 2 counts. Roman spears Punk. Punk counters the spear into a pedigree. Seth countered the spear into the pedigree, then curb stomps Roman for a 2 count. Roman was taking a lot of finishers, takes the curb stomp, kicks out. Roman then hits a spear on Seth. Punk, though, hits the GTS on Roman. 1-2. Roman kicks out again. Seth tells Roman that without me, you got nothing. You got no Mox here. You've got no bloodline. He actually said Mox in the ring, and the audio was picking it up, so that was interesting. And he tells Roman, we got to take out Punk together now. So they go and they see CM Punk, and they're about to do the Shield powerbomb. Roman was real conflicted, though. He was crouching down, grabbing his hair, doing all this acting. It was a lame part of the match. But then he decides to do the powerbomb with Seth, grabs CM Punk. But instead, he pulls Seth away and powerbombs Punk by himself through the announce table, which was a devastating bump there from CM Punk, one of the bumps of the night. And then Roman grabs Seth and powerbombs him through the other announce table, and then picks him up, rolls him in the ring, hits a spear, and it looked like the end.
The camera kind of had the placement of, that's over.
It felt over at that point. That was the best near fall of the match. And you really felt at that point, Punk has just gone through a table. Seth just went through the announce table. Devastating bump. And then he gets immediately rolled in, hits the spear. 1, 2, but Seth Rollins kicked out. Roman tries to do the chokehold, goes for the guillotine on CM Punk, but Punk reverses, applies the Anaconda Vice a little slowly there. Seth stops it, though, applies the sharpshooter on CM Punk. Roman, though, stops that, puts Seth in the guillotine, but Punk, regaining consciousness, curb stomps Roman Reigns, then hits the GTS on Seth. Is it over? It's not. Seth kicks out for another 2 count. Paul Heyman, then, he's getting involved. He gets the steel chair. Uh-oh. Heyman's gonna do something. He's gonna give it to CM Punk. He gives the chair to his man. He came to the ring with CM Punk. He's gotta stick with him. Sorry, Tribal Chief. Heyman, though, he's getting in the ring. What's he about to do? What's he doing? CM Punk about to lower the boom with the chair on the Tribal Chief, but Heyman stops him. He can't let him do that. Not to the Tribal Chief. Low blow, punches Punk right in his little punkster, and CM Punk goes down like a sack of potatoes. Heyman, though, seems upset about it. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like what he's done to his best friend. Maybe he doesn't like that he touched his penis. Roman, though, unloads on CM Punk with the steel chair. Punk is beaten and bruised. Heyman says, hey, wait a second. Look, my Tribal Chief, there's Seth Rollins. Let's get him.
Yeah, pretty much. Very animated.
Get him with the steel chair. Roman advances on Seth Rollins with the chair. Heyman sneaks behind Roman. What's he going to do? Gee, I wonder. A terrible low blow that he follows up with like one of these. I don't know what he was doing.
not quite that action.
He was jerking Roman off or something. It was weird.
The tribal quiche.
He went after the little tribe. And low blow on Roman as well. Heyman hands the chair to Seth, who has his hand there waiting because he knew that it was going on. That was a key moment there where Seth has his back turned the whole time, and then he puts his hand out because he knows the plan is in motion. Paul Heyman is there for him, hits the chair, hits the stomp on Roman. 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman walk away from night 1 of WrestleMania in the main event victorious, and a new alliance is formed.
Dangerous alliance.
Indeed. Match of the night.
Yeah, for sure.
Match of the night.
Yeah. Good performances from all 3.
I just burned it.
Yeah. Giancarlo.
That's right. Solid match.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. But the Paul Heyman low blows were a little funky.
Yeah, because I guess, for a guy of his stage, and, although I thought he was a lot older, he's 59.
Only 59.
But it's hard for him to kind of crouch down. Like, it's
not in the best physical condition.
No, so you could tell him, it's like, okay. It's like he doesn't want to topple over. That would look bad.
Yeah, it was close.
So, yeah, it was close. With the Roman one, it was close. Punk, he kind of landed
Punk was okay. The Roman one was bad.
He was kind of like, okay, here we go.
Got to crouch down again. Yeah, the low blow was strange.
Yeah.
But, they got the point across, and they did the thing.
Yeah.
And they did the match. And, a lot of these WWE main event matches rely on kicking out of finishes, and they did that big time. Which I think we're kind of conditioned to be like, wow, that was cool. And yes, sure, you got to get some near falls. You got to get some false finishes. They did have that one with Roman, I thought was the best false finish. They had a few that were, it's like, oh, I could see it maybe ending here. But overall, you need Paul Heyman involved in the finish. There was so much about Paul Heyman in this match. You needed to do all of this. But yeah, as soon as he gave Punk the chair and then started getting in the ring, you're like, well, why are you getting in the ring?
Yeah, what's up? What's up with that?
What's going on, Oh, this is where you're going to turn on everybody and join Seth. I will say, though, that once he gave the chair to Roman and Roman started hitting Punk, I was like, oh, is he just going to stay with Roman?
Be like...
But then when he was like, "Hey Roman, look, there's Seth," I was like, "Oh, okay, no, he's gonna punch him in the balls too, just a double ball punch." So Paul Heyman puts everybody down and helps Seth win in the main event of WrestleMania Night 1. It was good though.
Yeah,
I mean, it was. I don't think it was match of the year, but it was definitely match of the night.
Oh, for sure.
How about that?
Yeah.
Okay, everything else. on this show a little clunky, as we've said. Tiffy Time beats Charlotte Flair. It was a lot of Charlotte on offense in this match. It felt like it was planned that way to make Tiffy look not that great. Tiffy did not look that great. Everything Tiffy tried to do, Charlotte just cut off.
Yeah, she kept pressing triangle.
Yeah, she kept doing that reversal.
Yeah, it reminded me of playing against my nephew.
Yeah.
Just can't get a move in.
Yeah, I can never hit the finisher on my son when we're playing WWE 2K. He just reverses everything.
It's too quick.
He's so good at that game.
I know, it's frustrating.
We played tonight, and he was beating our ass.
Oh, my God, that's hell to sell.
He's 7 years old, and he beats our ass at WWE 2K.
I didn't even have a fall in that match.
Yeah, it's true.
That was John Cena.
Yeah, you were John Cena. You couldn't even do anything. Yeah. Who was he?
It was Kenny Omega.
Oh, yeah. Like those downloadable characters.
Those are cool.
What a cool game.
But Charlotte just kept cutting Tiffany off, and it was it really felt like, oh, this is like a statement. Like, they're just burying Tiffany here.
However,
she
she did win. She hit a very bad Alabama slam in the corner, and then a rolling senton, and then her prettiest moonsault. 1, 2, 3, and she retains the women's championship. I think Charlotte was sandbagging Tiffy a little bit in that match, too. Like, I think she was sandbagging on that Alabama slam. Like, she did not bump on that. She landed right on her feet. She was not trying to make that look good at all. It was, you could tell there were some problems there in that match. And, Bret Hart said in his Hall of Fame speech last night with Steve Austin, he says, Steve and I always had that trust and respect.
Yeah.
And if you want to be a great wrestler, you have to have trust and respect. And I don't think that there was trust or respect tonight with Tiffy and Charlotte.
No. They managed to get through it. It didn't look like they were really hurt, trying to hurt each other.
Well, Tiffy did wind up hurt though.
Yeah,
Tiffy had a big welt on her forehead, and it looked like she had 2 chipped teeth. Tiffy chipped her teeth. She got hurt, and it was probably on the natural selection that Charlotte did off the top. Was it off the top or the second? I'm not sure.
But
she did a supernatural selection. And it was a really rough landing. It looked bad. And Tiffy got hurt on it. I would bet anything the welt came from that, but I would bet anything that the tooth chipping came from that too. You could see Tiffy's face after that match. Her smile was not the same.
Yeah.
It was rough. It was rough. I don't know if they're trying to hurt each other on purpose, but they were not cooperating.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun to watch. It felt violent. It felt intense. There was intensity there, But it was, too intense at times, and they didn't quite... it was a little too, where they didn't have the smoothness to kind of pull stuff off that you need to pull off in the dance.
It's kind of like they're arguing in the ring in a certain way.
Yes.
We're doing this move. No, we're doing this move.
Yeah. I'm going to... they went to the top rope, and Charlotte... Tiffy's trying to suplex Charlotte, and Charlotte's, fighting it off, and then Charlotte's just sitting on the top rope for a bit, and you're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So.
They're probably not going to do another rematch, or is that the end of this feud? They just keep them apart now?
I don't know.
I feel like, they maybe are thinking... This is the new marquee. Maybe when they originally thought this feud out there, this is gonna go all year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they want to do that necessarily, or
I think
they got to figure something out.
Maybe you try it again at Backlash, maybe, but maybe not.
Yeah, maybe add another wrestler in there.
Backlash is really soon. They don't have a ton of time to put this together, and if they already have a Tiffy Charlotte match planned, they might just go with it, or they might scrap it and go with a different match. Mm-hmm. But. Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
All
think
of a sudden, Meechin's the number 1 contender.
Yeah, I just don't see this as being something long term that you could really do, because the match tonight had a lot of issues. I thought that it was the best match of the night until that point, because the rest of the card was so underwhelming, but it was still, rough.
You could feel the tension.
Yeah, it was rough.
And like it is surprising that Tiffany won because when she made her entrance, it felt like the spirit had been like sucked out of her. Like she wasn't smiling.
Yeah, she didn't look that
seemed
happy.
kind of like she wasn't really slapping hands or like holding the
That might have had something to do with the way the match was structured. Like she knew what she was about to get into, where it was just a one-sided beatdown from Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
Like Charlotte, she was on offense for I'd say 85% of the match.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
And then Tiffy at the end hit like 3 moves in one. No false finishes there. Tiffy went for the moonsault at one point. Charlotte got her knees up.
Yeah.
No false finishes. She did a couple things where she kicked Charlotte's knee and was kind of working the injured knee. But other than that, it was like all Charlotte doing everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hitting her with power bombs, hitting her with everything. So, Tiffy won, but she earned it.
Yeah.
She earned it. Rough match. Like her face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, did not go well for Tiffy tonight. Still champion, though, which I guess is also important. El Grande Americano beat Rey Fenix by pinfall in a short match that wasn't great. Rey Mysterio didn't wrestle. He was injured, so Rey Fenix took his spot. El Hijo del Vikingo was ringside, kicked Americano in the head before the match, which was allowed for some reason. Pat McAfee was like, why is that happening? Michael Cole's like, well, it was before the match. And it's like, okay, I guess it's fine. If a guy who's just sitting ringside in a seat in the crowd just kicks one of your wrestlers, as long as it happens before the match, there's no problem.
Yeah. And like the audience doesn't know who that guy is.
Yeah, the audience just think it's some guy. Like they didn't pop for El Hijo del Vikingo at all.
They should have like showed him with like a nameplate, like, hey, everyone at ringside, it's El Hijo del Vikingo.
I don't think they realize people don't know who this guy is. I think they're excited because they've seen a few matches of his in AEW and they know how good he is, but I think that most of the audience at WrestleMania, like that crowd was dead too.
Oh, yeah.
Why were they so dead?
I mean, they're probably thinking, I paid $10,000 for this.
Yeah. They're
Like,
thinking of all the debt and all the
hotels and
Yeah.
like I got an $800 autograph from like Alexa Bliss today.
Maybe.
Do I really want this?
Maybe.
I mortgaged my car for this.
What happened to her?
Ooh.
Yeah. Big comeback. Not so much. But
Yeah,
the crowd was
I'm thinking the
super dead.
people, especially in the front, were thinking like,
well, I think it's either because it's two things, right? It's people that can't really afford it because they're regular people, and they're like, my God, I can't believe I paid this much for this, and they're kind of devastated. And then there's the other people who can afford it, who like don't care, and they're on the phone the whole time, like Nick Khan or Bill Simmons or whatever.
that Saudi guy.
Yeah, Turkey Al-Shiki or whatever that guy is. Like, that's seriously his name. Turkey Al-Shiki, man. I swear that's his name, brother. Turkey Al-Shiki. I fucking swear to God his name's Turkey.
I feel like they didn't say that on the podcast. Well,
Turkey Al-Sheikh.
his name is Turkey.
Bro, his name's Turkey. He's the Saudi Arabian advisor, minister of general entertainment. Turkey Al-Sheikhi, bro.
I'm sorry for laughing.
Yeah.
That's
Yo,
kind
his
of
name
offensive.
is Turkey.
Good for him.
It is a funny name.
Yeah.
When you first hear it, you go, this is not his name's not Turkey. You're making a joke.
Yeah.
His name is Turkey Al-Sheikhi. And he was like a big Saudi money guy. When you want to do a big boxing match or MMA fight or even pro wrestling, you call Turkey Al-Sheikhi and you say, Turkey Al-Sheikhi, do you have $1 billion you could give me for a shitty match that no one will watch? Well, yes, I do. Come to Saudi Arabia.
Will you say that Saudi Arabia is a fun place to visit? Yes.
Yes. Will you say Saudi Arabia is super awesome, and will you take pictures with me and have all your people take pictures with me? Yes. Okay, here's $1 billion for this garbage match that no one will pay for. I will lose $999 million on this deal.
If you will legitimize me.
But please come to Saudi Arabia. Can I get a ticket for WrestleMania? Of course, Turkey Al-Sheikhi.
Yeah.
You
just
just gave
sit
us
right behind Michael Cole.
You just gave us $1 billion for Grayson Waller versus Austin Theory in a main event. Of course. You can have whatever you want. Turkey El Shiki, baby.
Oh my goodness.
Why are we talking about this guy?
Because
who was
at
the
ringside?
These are the people who are at the shows, and they're not popping for anything. They're
Yeah.
not going crazy. It's not like an arena full of British fans going absolutely nuts, because those people are not traveling and paying the money for this.
Yeah.
They're not.
Let's say fuck that.
We've had it.
We'll wait for them to come to us, I guess.
That's why the crowd was dead as hell tonight. And, that doesn't help the performances either. When you're a little tired and you're a little beat up, that adrenaline and a hot crowd can help you deliver a performance. But that's not what we had tonight. Not at all.
Sometimes a big crowd, even when they're into it, sometimes hard to hear, but, they'll really let you know if they can.
Yeah.
So a dead big crowd must feel like crickets or you can hear the wind blowing.
El Grande Americano continues his win streak. He hit a backwards 450 thing that looked really
Kind of
rough.
a senton.
It looked like an accident. I don't know what the hell he was trying.
He missed the rotation there.
And then he put that loaded thing in his mask, and Phoenix kicked it and then hurt his ankle, but he rolled out of the ankle lock, and then Americano hit a headbutt with the weapon thing, and then a diving headbutt with the loaded mask for the pin. Not much of anything. And we didn't even see what I was hoping we would see, which was like El Grande Americano and Chad Gable in the same room, which would have been a cool WrestleMania moment. WrestleMania moments. It's about creating moments. No moments tonight.
It's just a normal match.
El Hijo del Vikingo coming to console Rey Fenix after the match is not a WrestleMania moment. Where were the WrestleMania moments tonight? There was nothing.
No.
Jade Cargill's titty popping out, maybe? Something? I mean, what the hell happened tonight?
Yeah. No, it felt like a very normal kind of pay-per-view. If you called this Vengeance, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, exactly. This is the Great American Bash.
Yeah.
It's not good. Jacob Fatu beat LA Knight after a couple moonsaults to become the new United States champion. LA Knight got driven to the stage in a Maserati for some reason. Didn't really understand that. Fatu kicked out of the big BFT. The super BFT went for a moonsault, got hit with a BFT. It was a nice move. And then hit 2 moonsaults and beat LA Knight in a very just kind of ho-hum match.
Yeah. That was unfortunate.
Yeah.
I was expecting more from that one.
Yeah. And Jacob Fatu's father, Sam Fatu, the Tonga Kid, was there to celebrate with him. So that's nice.
And Haku was there, I think.
Was Haku there as well?
I think Haku was there.
Oh.
He came to the ringside and was like, hey.
Haku. I saw somebody say Haku was his father. The Tonga Kid is his father. Tonga Kid is actually the twin brother of Rikishi. Fatu is part of the Anoa'i wrestling family. He is cousins to the Uso and to Solo and to Roman. So he wins, of course, because, that family. They usually win. So LA Knight, who knows where he goes from here. Jade Cargill beat Naomi in a really rough finish. Jade did a powerbomb thing that looked like it killed Naomi, and she didn't even. It looked like she was going to pin her, but then she didn't. She just picked her up again and then hit her glam slam thing.
I think what she was supposed to do was go from powerbomb and then flip her around and put her into a glam slam.
But she couldn't.
But she was oh, I'm losing her, so instead of just dropping her, let me just powerbomb to make it look like I know what I'm doing.
It was rough.
And then okay, let's glam slam and go home.
Pick her back up after that. It was
Naomi's face when she was in the glam slam. She looked like she was in actual pain. She was just oh, that was rough.
Very rough.
It was very rough indeed. But
it was
not a great match, and Jade had some gear issues.
Yeah. Yeah, Jade. And that to me was like the finish was rough, and then Jade was really messing with her top, and as she's exiting the ring and celebrating, she's arms up, and her whole boob is out. It was fully out, and she's yeah, and I'm and the camera doesn't even pan away immediately. They just watch her celebrate, and you're
oh.
Are you not seeing this, guys?
I guess that's not going to be there'll be an edited version, probably.
Yeah, they are going to have to edit that out because Jade Cargill's whole titty was out. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, by God, I don't think she wanted that to happen.
No.
But her gear, she's always adjusting her gear. I feel like Jade Cargill gets gear more for show than for go. And if the gear is kind of like, it might
and
not.
She's big, you know,
Yeah.
like she's bulky. Like she might like put on some extra muscle, and then like the gear doesn't fit right anymore.
Yeah, and
You can't make new.
I think it's more than that. Like sometimes you have a choice in your gear. It's like, is it going to be functional or is it going to look really cool?
Yeah.
And I think she forgoes function for look, and she always looks cool, but she's always fiddling with her gear because I don't think it's that functional.
Yeah.
She's got to figure that out because you can't have your titty popping out at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Like, it's not what you want.
No.
And that's on them. You got to be able to adjust your gear. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. If we as a society thought that it was fine to have your titties pop out at WrestleMania, fine.
Yeah.
But under the current system of pro wrestling, I'm going to say, it's frowned upon to have your titty pop out at WrestleMania. And you might be embarrassed about it. I'm not sure. Maybe she's not embarrassed.
She's like, yo.
Maybe she wanted her titty to pop out at WrestleMania. Maybe that was her, like, Janet Jackson moment. You know what I mean?
That was an accident.
Or was it?
I believe it was.
So why did she have a thing on her nipple?
It's just part of the costume.
Was it?
I think it was just like a part of her costume.
I thought that was a thing on her nipple because she knew her nipple was going to be revealed. It was like a plan.
I thought it was just
not
like,
a plan?
It was like a piece of leather or something that Justin Timberlake grabbed onto and ripped. So
Brother.
then her costume ripped. It was probably like tight. It was like tight leather, so she didn't have a brassiere underneath.
Brother, where is the 3-part Netflix documentary series on this to explain what happened with Janet Jackson's titty?
Yeah, there hasn't been.
And then provide some alternate theories. And then in the end of the 3-part Netflix documentary, you really don't get any answers whatsoever, and you just go to Wikipedia and get
Spent 7 hours watching it.
Yeah, and you really get nothing out of it. Thanks a lot, Netflix.
Ted Sarandos.
Yeah, WWE really joining on the Netflix bandwagon of, this is how you do Netflix content. You just fill a lot of time. It seems like you're going somewhere, but you actually go nowhere, and then in the end, you're like wasting your viewers' time. That's what a lot of Netflix shows are, and that's what the WWE is. You're just watching some stuff. You think it's going to go somewhere. It goes nowhere. And in the end, you filled time.
There's like one famous guy there. It's like, oh, that guy's in this. Okay.
Yeah.
John Cena. Huh?
That's like the Netflix MO right now. It's terrible. And WWE is the same thing.
Yeah, their original content's in trouble.
I cannot tell you how many documentary series on Netflix I've watched. It's like, hey, it's a new 3-part thing about this murderer or this guy who did this. And then you watch it and you're like, okay, so what happened? And then in the end, they're like, well, it's not really clear. And you go, so why did I watch this?
Isn't this guy creepy?
It seemed like there was a lot more to it than this in the trailer. And I've been sitting through 4 episodes to get to the point. And then in the end, there's no point. And that's what WrestleMania felt like. It's really what Netflix does. Fuck you, Ted Sarandos. You suck.
It's ruined culture.
He's ruined culture. Absolute trash. That's why WWE thinks they can get away with it. If everybody else in entertainment is doing it, why not us? Let's just give disposable bullshit that no one will really like or rewatch. As long as they watch it the first time, that's the most important part. Nothing has to last.
Except The Irishman. The Irishman was great.
Irishman
but like that's not
was
really
great.
Netflix's part. They just put up the money.
Yeah, they just put it up. Scorsese did the work.
Scorsese's the artist.
I've seen The Irishman like a dozen times.
Irishman's fantastic.
I fucking love The Irishman.
You like steak?
I can bring... Yeah, I like steak.
I deliver steak. Good steak. I could deliver you steak.
Oh, yeah?
Could you?
Could you?
Could you? That's one of the greatest delivered lines.
So good.
The way
My
Bobby Cannavale just looks at him, he's like, could you?
My favorite line, though, is Keitel, where he burns down De Niro has burnt
laundry,
down the washerwomen, and he's like, and then he's sitting there with Joe Pesci, who has just saved De Niro's life, saying, I would have let the Jew mob kill you, but instead, and then he's like,
it was Beansy, right?
Yeah,
Beansy
and Keitel says, you got a good friend here, and then De Niro's like, yeah, I know. No, you don't know. When Keitel's like, no, you don't know. Because it's like, yo, you have no idea how good a friend this guy is. He just saved your life. It's like, you have a good friend here. Yeah, I know. No, you don't know. God damn, that movie was good. The Irishman.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, it's like a 3-hour plus epic on Netflix. It's way better than WrestleMania.
Oh, my God, yeah.
I mean, if you're going to spend 4 hours on Netflix, spend it on The Irishman instead of WrestleMania.
Pacino, one of his best performances.
Pacino, Pesci, De Niro.
Stephen Graham.
I mean, you're really not. Who's Stephen Graham?
Tony Pro.
Tony Pro. You're our boy, Tony Pro.
Yeah.
I love that guy. Whew.
Yeah.
So that was a great movie.
Was.
The New Day, they won the tag team titles, which I was happy to see. I love the New Day.
That finish, though.
They're great. Ivar moonsaulted Kofi's legs at one point. I thought he maybe broke Kofi's legs. New Day hit their finisher, and then Kofi rolled out of the ring and held onto Ivar's legs while Woods pinned Ivar. So they cheated to win. And 1, 2, 3, new tag team champions.
It's very blink and you'll miss it. We're kind of just like watching it. We took our eyes off the TV for a second. They're like, oh, it's over? New Day. Oh, okay.
It was very fast and kind of abrupt, but I think that was the point.
I guess so,
for this match. Kind of steal it and run away. Like New Day, they grabbed the belts and they ran away like they're scared because they cheated. You know, they were getting beat up for most of the match, and then they kind of cheated to win in the end.
The War Raiders entrance probably had my favorite moment of commentary from the night. Pat McAfee was like, because he does the thing, he's like, Monday night, Raw is War Raiders. And then there's just a pause, and then Michael Cole goes, this is WrestleMania, Pat. It's not Raw.
Pat did not know.
He's like, yeah, WrestleMania's War Raiders. Yeah.
Good job, McAfee.
Yeah, doofus.
Oh, God, the commentary is so bad. And in the opening match, Jey Uso hit a powerbomb, 3 top rope splashes, then applied Gunther's own chokehold to him to make Gunther tap out and win the World Heavyweight title. Big Jimmy Uso came out to celebrate with Jey after the match, so Big Jim has recovered from that beating he took from Gunther a few weeks ago on Raw. And, you figured Jey Uso was going to win. And that's fine. They're going to give Jey Uso a little run with the world title, and that's fine. However, did you have to completely bury Gunther in the process?
Yeah, that chokehold thing. The way he was like, tapping so fast, and Jey Uso, barely had it in.
Yeah.
It was ugly. It was an ugly chokehold.
But why is he tapping out?
Yeah.
Pin him.
Or
pin him.
Get choked out, knock him out.
Yeah, choke him out. Put down the beast. You put him down unconscious. Don't make him tap. Tapping out to me is not a good way to end Gunther's very long title reign of being this dominant, looming, mean champion.
Yeah.
Just him giving up. And Gunther's been on such a run before the world title with the Intercontinental title that he held for so long. Wasn't he the longest reigning Intercontinental champion in history? And then he went from that to a world title run. Gunther has been pushed very solidly, very strong for a very long time. You've built something here. And then to have it kind of end with Jey Uso making him tap out to his own move feels like a burial for Gunther, which sucks.
It does. Yeah, that was pretty underwhelming.
Have Gunther lose, but don't kill the guy off when he loses, unless he's leaving the company, but I don't think he is.
I don't think so.
So I don't
pretty happy.
I don't understand the finish. I think you could have done this a dozen other ways where Jey Uso still walks out champion and Gunther can look okay. Gunther could have taken 3 top rope splashes and lost.
Yeah.
You hit him with the powerbomb, you do 1 splash, 2 splash, you got to do another one. Boom, you do another one. Gunther gets up, spins around, you spear him, 1, 2, 3. Why choke him out with his own move? It's not even like you do a chokehold.
No.
It's
clearly
Gunther's own move. It's insult to injury. When you finish a guy with his own finishing move, that's like an insult.
Yeah.
That makes him look like garbage. Why did that happen? It was a very bad finish. The more I think about it, the more I'm like,
and how fast
there's
he
so
taps.
many ways to do it.
At least when Triple H would tap out in a match, he was struggling,
Fighting
finding
a bit.
any which way. It looked like he was about to go under. Then he's like,
Yeah.
Then he finally tapped. Gunther, it's like he was in it for 5 seconds, and he was kind of almost yelling. He was like, ah, ah, it was I don't know if that was his choice or if that's like how he's supposed to be, but like it looked because it was like I'm just looking like, oh, it looks like Jey he doesn't have a hooks in or anything.
Yeah.
And Gunther's tapping, like it looks like he could just roll out of it.
It's not like it was a real choke and the choke was really in deep. Like Jey had nothing on him.
Gunther put some intensity into it.
Yeah, Jey, like the choke didn't even look good.
Yeah, because Jey probably didn't know what the hell he was doing.
I will say though about the fast tap, the Gunther, like when you're in a choke, you know what I mean? Like when you're in a deep choke, you're tapping quick.
It is true.
Because like you're not gonna try to fight out of it if you're like about. Because if you try to fight out of it, then you go unconscious. Because that's you're getting choked out. But that's not what was happening here.
No.
This is pro wrestling.
Yeah. You do the choked unconscious for, dramatic effect or something.
But the finish of this match was real bad, and the match itself was not particularly good leading up to it.
No, it was just long and just kind of boring and drawn out.
It didn't stand out among their other matches that they've had in the past.
Yeah.
I think their match at Saturday night's main event was probably better.
Entrances was long. Jey Uso's entrance was really long.
The entrances
coming to the crowd.
Entrances were longer than the match. It felt like.
Yeah.
A lot of the entrances felt longer than these matches. What is the total time on this?
Of like just match time?
Let's see. 16 minutes. Let's say another 26, 36, 46, 40... 53 plus say 20 being generous, that's an hour 13 plus another 33, it's an hour 45 generous, and I'm adding seconds and I'm rounding up. That's an hour 45 of actual ring time on a 4-hour show.
That's rough.
An hour 45 of actual ring time on a 4-hour show. It was mostly entrances, mostly video package. You could have got this done in 3 hours.
Yeah.
You could have got this done in an hour. You could have got this done in 2 hours, quite frankly, because it was an hour 45. Generous.
There's no backstage promos.
It was
or
actually
anything.
more like an hour 40, an hour 35, But we're being generous with the time here. But it was like an hour 40, an hour 45 of actual in-ring time on a 4-hour broadcast. It's absurd. Just a bunch of time waste. Show more Triple H video packages.
Yeah.
You know what I think this show needs? A package about me.
All the great decisions I've made.
Let's have all the Hall of Famers come out and, wave to the crowd. Let's have Steve Austin and Bret Hart come out with, Earthquake's family and all the other Michelle McCool and all the other Hall of Famers with no entrance. Steve Austin, no entrance. Bret Hart, no entrance. Just stand there. But then, of course, when Triple H comes out, full music, full entrance, whatever. Because
spit some water.
He's the main event of the Hall of Fame. He's the most important one.
We got Bret rolling his eyes, though.
Yeah, Triple H went to shake his hand, and Bret kind of rolled his eyes after he walked away.
Yeah, it's a great show, Hunter.
Yeah.
Loving it.
Yeah.
I have some critiques.
Back in my day, we used to wrestle at WrestleMania. Now we just do video packages.
Or me and Roddy Piper telling a story in the ring.
God damn.
They need video packages to convey the emotion.
If you had Bret and Piper on this WrestleMania,
oh my God,
people would lose their minds.
Oh my God.
People would have gone completely insane. This was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Or a random Bret Mr. Perfect match.
Yeah, Bret Hakushi on this WrestleMania would have been match of the night. Brother.
Hakushi.
I mean, any Bret Hart match is usually
yeah.
Best there is, best there was, best there ever will be. I love the Hall of Fame last night when CM Punk says Bret Hart and Steve Austin are the two greatest in-ring performances, generational performers.
Call them workers, I think.
Best workers. Yeah, in-ring workers of all time.
Yeah.
And then, Bret and Steve come out and whatever, they do their thing, they talk, and it was really great. That was the best part of the Hall of Fame was Punk and then
easily.
Bret and Austin. And then right after that, here comes Shawn Michaels looking all sad, and he's like, well, maybe let's get this ass-kissing, Hall of Fame thing over with, ha, 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 ha. And it's like, yeah, you're just upset because they're not kissing your ass, Shawn.
Yeah.
And they're talking about, once again, people talking about how much Bret is better than you,
yeah,
and Austin was better than you, and everybody's acting like you're a nobody again, and you can't take it. Your fragile ego, Shawn Michaels.
NXT, I'm doing NXT.
Yeah. Hey, tune into my show in the afternoon. Yeah, right.
It's kind of like a little Beavis.
Yeah, that's my Shawn Michaels. He's always got that little laugh. I was laughing at his own shitty jokes. HB Shizzle.
Yeah.
Oh, so WrestleMania Night 1 in the books. We have seen it. We have done it. And I'm hoping Night 2 is better.
I'm not impressed by their performance.
Yeah, it was weak. Super weak.
It didn't feel like Mania.
No.
No one sang America the Beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, like just a little touch. And also, the celebrities at ringside, a little lacking. Like
It was Dana White.
Rick Rubin again.
Israel Adesanya.
Turkey.
Turkey Al-Shiki.
Bill Simmons was there, but they didn't say his name.
Yeah.
What
is he, Drake?
Yeah. But like, yeah, you know, like usually it's like, oh, like, you know, Adam Sandler. And like, also, this is like Hollywood WWE. Like,
maybe they're saving it for Night 2.
I guess.
No Trump.
Maybe
he's going to be on Night 2.
Hey, I got ringside, just like, hey, everybody, the president's here.
Maybe. I mean, there was a lot of talk that Trump would be there, but he wasn't there tonight. Maybe tomorrow.
I don't see that crowd. I think you can match.
I think the crowd is so dead they wouldn't react at all to anything. I mean, they barely reacted. Yeah, no celebrities really in the crowd. No famous wrestlers showing up to do anything cool.
Yeah.
Except for El Hijo del Vikingo.
But yeah, like no legends.
No.
You know, no.
Tomorrow, hopefully. Like The Rock maybe, you know. Like that Cody Cena match should have something. Should have something. I don't know. But Randy Orton has an open challenge, you know. Maybe Rusev is not exciting.
No, like a 10-minute Rusev-Randy match is not exciting.
Hey, does Gravity still work for AEW? Because maybe he'll wrestle Randy tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, it's like...
So another AEW cast-off?
Yeah, some guy that worked Collision 3 months ago is going to work Randy.
Ethan Page answers the call.
Yeah, right? Maybe it'll be Malachi Black or whatever. Anyways, Cody Cena tomorrow night. Randy and a mystery opponent. Priest and McIntyre. Braun, Penta, Finn, and Dominic.
I'm hoping that's all right.
I'm hoping that's better than anything we saw tonight. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. Liv and Raquel versus Lyra. And a mystery partner because Bayley was attacked. So Lyra will now have a mystery partner, and people are thinking it's going to be Becky Lynch. Okay.
Apparently it was the plan for weeks.
Like that Becky was going to be there?
Yeah, so like Bayley just being in there is a bit of like a... I don't know. Maybe now Bayley, like if Becky and Lyra win, Bayley will be jealous.
Yeah. She'll do a Naomi angle.
Yeah, it's just a mirror
Same
image.
Thing. Yep. And then Io, Bianca, and Rhea set to open the show tomorrow night for the Women's World Championship.
That should be good.
In a triple threat. It should be, but some of the things tonight should have been good, and they just weren't. WrestleMania. All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching. Big shout out to all the members. All the members in the chat supporting over at join.ringsidereport.net. Jason Pete, Harold Schneider, Kyle Salisbury. Kyle giving this show, I think, a 5 on 10. CSL Lorne. Ray Cruz. And so on. And all the other members in the chat supporting. Harold Schneider, thank you for dropping the super chats. He says, Punk wrestled with the energy of a much younger Punk. I agree.
Yeah, he had some of like his old moves, like the calf kick thing,
yeah,
like that one, like he hasn't done in a while, and he pulled it off pretty well.
Punk looked great tonight.
Yeah.
Punk looked great. Roman looked good. Seth looked good. That match was good.
Yeah, Seth hit his Phoenix Spike, like the flip, like he hasn't done that one in a while.
Yeah.
They brought out some old moves.
Like, that match was good.
Yeah.
They went above and beyond.
Yeah.
They don't wrestle that much.
No.
They rest.
Yeah, Roman's going to get another like month off.
I mean,
or 2.
He's not on a lot of the shows.
Punk cuts promos.
Did Roman even go to Europe?
I don't think. Maybe one show?
Maybe. But, they were able to not be so tired. And they delivered. Yeah. And they had to, because they had the longest match on the show by far.
Yeah.
They went over 30 minutes. The second closest in length was Charlotte and Tiffany that went 19.
Just 19, like 1905.
I think just 19. Like, everybody else had, like, 10-minute matches, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because you had a 4-hour show.
I remember, like, back in the day, Mania, there'd be, like, a few longer matches. Like,
yes.
The third match would be a bit of, like, a long one. Like Chris Jericho had a singles match, it'd go a little while or something.
Like, they opened it up with a 16.5-minute Jey Uso Gunther world title match, which, like, okay, that's a decent amount, but it felt long.
And the finish really cut anything out of it.
Yeah.
It's just really been like, ugh.
And then you had New Day.
Bad first impression.
New Day's match, 9 minutes. Jade's match, 9 minutes. Jacob Fatu LA Knight, 10 minutes. El Grande, 8 minutes. Such short matches where it's like these are just TV matches that you could see on SmackDown or Raw without a commercial break.
Yeah.
It's insane that they did this at WrestleMania. It's nuts. I don't know what they're thinking. I'm not thinking. All right. We'll be back tomorrow night for WrestleMania Night 2 recap review. Thank you to everybody supporting and watching tonight on the Ringside Report Network. We will see you again tomorrow for more here on WrestleMania weekend.
Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word.
You know the drill. Hit that subscribe button. Flip those notification switches.
We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net. Hope to see you again next time, and have a good night.